I'm Amitai. Welcome back to my stream. Happy New Year, hopefully. Today we're doing some package source. It's supporting some work for notqmail, but the work itself is going to be very package sourcey. Let me give you context really quickly with the tabs that I have open here. What we're looking at, as you can see, is the notqmail project wiki on GitHub, and it is explaining some plans, or at least intentions, for design changes we want to make in Qmail, not Qmail, the derivative of Qmail that we're working on. And in particular, there's a component of Qmail called SMTPD, which is the thing that listens on port 25 and takes email into your system from everybody else. When they send you email, it reaches your server on port 25 and comes to you that way. The flip side of it is that a mail server also has to be a mail client of sorts. And in Qmail, the program that does that is called Qmail Remote. And that connects to port 25 on some other server, the server where your email is being delivered to somebody else, whatever their server is. And Qmail Remote has a bunch of feature limitations, and it also has some design oddities in the context of the Qmail code base. And so my proposed design here to get those features is to remove the design oddity. The design oddity in particular is that Qmail Remote has networking code in it. And that's strange because Qmail SMTPD doesn't on purpose, which makes it really easy to test and makes it really easy because it's just reading standard input, writing standard output. Makes it really easy to adapt to different, like when IP version 6 got standardized. All you need is an inetd or a TCP server, what have you, that speaks IP version 6, and Qmail SMTPD runs under that just as well as it runs under something else. Now you have IP version 6. Similar for TLS. If you want to have TLS always on, just run it under something like S-Tunnel or SSL server or S6 networking. If you want to have TLS that is opportunistic, where server to server they upgrade to TLS, starting with an unencrypted connection, that's a little more complicated, but it's also covered in the basic design of Qmail SMTPD. And so my design here, my intention for Qmail Remote is to be parallel to that, to be symmetrical to that, and remove the client networking code from Qmail Remote in favor of being able to run, to begin with, under TCP client, which corresponds to TCP server, and in time to run under something like a choice of TCP client or other workalikes, SSL client, S6 networking's programs for that. Anything that can make a TCP, netcat for that matter, if you really wanted to, is a TCP client kind of program. Then you can probably run some other program under it. And so if we take out the networking code from Qmail Remote, then it becomes pretty easy to add other features to the sort of concentrated logic that remains. And besides being a nice design, it gets us the features that we want. So this is the not Qmail portion of the discussion, and we're going to move toward the package source part that we're going to work on. When I mentioned that I was working on this design, somebody who knew their way around the Qmail ecosystem better than I did said, "Oh, I've heard that idea before. There's this thing called Q Remote that already took the networking code out of Qmail Remote, and it not only did that for refactoring, but did it so that Qmail Remote could specifically run under a different network transport. Not even like IP version 4 versus IP version 6, but TCP versus curved CP. And so if you want to make a curved CP connection, the refactoring that was done here lets it run under curved CP. I don't know anything about it. I just know that it can work. And right now I'm mainly interested in the TCP part of it, the refactoring in that aspect. Now, I'm coming at this from a package maintainer where if I'm going to develop things in notqmail, I want to know that my building blocks are easily available on all the platforms that I want notqmail to run on. And for that, I rely on package source. I add a package to package source. I explain its dependencies in a declarative way. And then I can count on it, assuming I've packaged it well, to build on every platform that I would ever want to use. And if it doesn't, then it shows up in the package source bulk builds, and I can fix it there and upstream it if there's an upstream, and then not worry about it ever again. I have it. If I want it, I say package install it, and it's there. So QRemote is in package source in case I want to play with it in that way. But it has its own copy um, of nacl, salt, I guess is how it's pronounced. It's a crypto library from the same person who wrote Qmail, Dan Bernstein, and it seems to have some portability constraints. And I'm running on an Apple Silicon M1 here for our stream today and for my daily driver. And it doesn't seem like 64-bit ARM AArch64 is one of the supported platforms for nacl, and nacl doesn't seem like it's getting updated all that often. Salt is how it's pronounced. The last version that was released was 11 years ago. So, as happens often with Dan Bernstein, he made something that's really important, and then it's left to us to figure out what to do about it. I'm not anywhere near as motivated about nacl as I am about Qmail and not Qmail. Salt, excuse me, I gotta learn how to pronounce this. But I would like anything that depends on it to work on as many platforms as it can, and specifically on my laptop, on my own laptop. So here's the package of salt that's in package source. And I can tell you, if you try to build it on an M1, it's not going to build. Now, I happen to be in conversation with the author of QRemote, and he mentioned that he's responsible for the Debian package of salt, and that perhaps they have resolved, some of these portability issues. I certainly have not looked into them, but this is something I often do for package source, and so it's something I want to try to do today. I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but I pulled up the Debian source package for salt, and in particular, the three patches that Jan Mojžiš personally drew to my attention, this one, and this one. And we want to see if we can get a change to happen, to get the salt package to build on macOS AArch64. And if these patches are enough, that's awesome. If they get me closer so that I can figure out what's left, that's awesome. And of course, I can look at all the other patches that Debian has and see if they're useful. And if that's not enough, I can see other package systems too. But I'm going to guess this one is well maintained based on the author. And let me show you first what happens now if we try to build salt. So off the top, this is a very strange build process. You're seeing a lot of errors go by. You can see them even better if they were in color. I'm just piping it through to save the log. It seems like it's trying a bunch of different compilers in case the system has a bunch. It's trying a bunch of different architectures in case the system has more than one ABI it can build for. It's trying different optimization flags, and somehow trying to, I don't know, maybe benchmark which way of building this on this platform is the most performant. I don't really know how to debug a build process where what you see are tons of errors. I don't know how to make sense of that. So it didn't build very well. You can see some of these errors look real. And if I were to try to make package, I think it's gonna, yeah. So the things that are supposed to get installed aren't built. Okay, so that's pretty clear, at least as far as it goes. If we had to look at it in more depth, it's not so clear. That's why it's really handy to lean on the Debian package, which I cloned the source into temp Debian salt. How does it work with these packages? There's a Debian directory. I don't know a ton about this. Let's see what's going on. Okay. patches, we have a bunch. Okay. Okay, we have a patch like this in package source already. Package source already has a controlled build environment. We don't need this package to try to uncontrol it. Likewise with the, we have something here. It seems like a lot of packages make sure that the randombytes.o gets archived into librandombytes.a. And so I think we have that already too. And anyway, that's not our build problem right now. I don't know why that's there. Does it give us an idea? This is 003. It probably has been there longer. So it moved in this commit. Am I looking at the wrong file? Fix socket bind. I'm not sure what I'm missing here. I don't think this is our problem. But tell you what, let's just preemptively. We have some patches here. Let's see what package source has first. Right, I added this just the other day that got Mac OS Intel building and FreeBSD for that matter. Maybe we'll see that in Debian, but I don't think Linux has needed it. Here's that thing where we show our build output and fix the host name. Don't override the system's ABI. Package source knows which ABI we're supposed to be building. It has its own ABI handling. So just leave those arguments out. And that's all the patches I have so far at this point. So I think what I want to do is kind of eagerly take all the Debian patches, see if everything starts to work. If it does, of course, I can binary search my way back and see maybe I don't need all of these things. If it doesn't work, then I didn't waste too much effort picking which things I needed. So let's do that. Easiest way to get in here is to go into work salt, and I have package VI, which is the package tool for editing a source file from an upstream tarball and leaving it in a state where I could generate a patch for package source. So I want to work on curvecp socket bind. If it was a bigger patch, I would apply it more obviously. So in between the byte 0 and the byte copy, they do this. Okay. Segfault. That's exciting. How big a patch is this? Okay, we'll still do this one by hand. So it's in curvecp client, long D, around line 96, yep. Before the for loop. Not studying this code at all. And likewise in curvecp server. Well, I think it's gonna be a long D. I don't exactly know that song, all out of rhythm. That looks it for that. And then we have a curvecp port parse.c long J. Same guard clause. The curvecp client, curvecp server, and port parse. Okay. I say that we did those. This is promising. It looks like it could work on MIPS. I don't have a MIPS platform in my build farm yet, but I'll take it. CPU cycles, MIPS.c. And we're looking for around line 18. That must be the one. Replace it with, whoops, this. It was in read ticks. Yeah, does that work now? Why is this complaining? Oh, okay. I might have complained before. Okay. And what else do we have from Debian? Add kill after. Kill after. I guess that's a Debian specific thing. Or is it in here? No, they're creating it. Okay, I very much don't understand why this needed to be added. I guess it prevents a build from going infinitely. Um, I'm gonna skip this. If my build works, I'm gonna be happier than I was before. Fix collecting zombies. This is a little involved, so I'm gonna try to apply this one not by hand. So for that, I'm gonna copy it out of Debian salt patches. Oh yeah, Debian patches 007. In fact, I don't need to copy it if I can just reach it. So let's do this. I might have to say which files. Yeah, okay. There was probably a patch option that would have done this automatically. Let's try. I think I'm going to regret that. I just realized. Because it's not going to keep the whole orig. So like now if I do a package diff curve cp message.c, it's going to be just this. It's not going to be any of the other edits that I made, I think. Yeah. So I lost the other edits that I made. Okay. So, okay, it's time to undo and do this a little more intelligently. Here we are again with a cleanly extracted tree. I'm just going to take all the patches that I can. What series? It just lists them all. Okay. Okay. Is there anything already named? Orig? Yes. How do I want to do this? Every time I run patch, it's gonna, before it tries to patch the file, it's gonna copy the file to .orig, blowing away whatever the previous .orig was. So I think I just need to be really careful each time uh, to make, to add .orig to anything that already has .orig before I do the next patch. I think that's going to be the easiest way that I know right now. So for each of these, so there they are. Instead of echoing them, I want to copy I to I.orig. This is, no, I don't like that either. I think I need to do something that isn't that. Let's continue with the manual version of this. That's the one that I am the most confident in. So let's come back here and redo by hand and just keep redoing by hand. It's an opportunity for me to read the code that I'm doing, which I will not take, but it is still an opportunity. Package VI curve CP client. D. Yeah, this one is relatively mechanical. Around line, oh yeah, not this one. Curve CP server, around line 90, just before the 4. Curve CP port parse, just before the 4. Okay, we got this one. Then we get into CPU cycles, MIPS. What else is in here? MIPS, Alpha Cortex, i64. Nothing for 64-bit ARM that I would guess, but still, I'm going to see if my friend can help me out here. Replace that one with supposedly this one. Lord knows what that means. Not me. I was going to skip this one. And then this one I'm going to do by hand. Curve CP message. 135. So we're saying child died. And poll ret. Earliest block time. And then around 304, 307. If poll PQ timeout is less than 0. Instead of that, a few things. Starting with whatever that means. I'm sure it's somehow better than what was there before. Pardon my manual labor. And now we get down to here. Now, obviously, if these patches work and are necessary, then I will want to comment them for package source. What happened here? We don't have a finish. I'm about to have a finish. Yeah, okay. Around 650. Gotta do child. 1 is -1, while 0. And we're gonna get in here. This. This feels like a very janky process. And if it looks like one to you, I agree. It's not something I spend enough time doing to optimize. Although if we're going to do this repeatedly for this one, then I would take a minute to figure that out. For now, that's good. That gets me to the end of this block. And then before this due, we're getting into checking for child died. Okay. Or was that? Ah, I see. I was supposed to hoist this up into the if. Okay. Then I will. Is that really identical? Yeah. And then finish comes after that. Like so. Woo! So that was all in curve CP message. Fine. Fake nanoseconds. That's number 8. Too bad. No information on that either. Okay, let's do that find again. I don't think I've done anything to fake nanoseconds yet. So this one I can freely apply as I had before. It's not going to make something a ridge. It's just making a new file. 2, actually. Probably going to put them in the wrong directory. No, I put them in the right directory. Good news. On to the next one. Curve CP server. 474. 816 client extension. We wanted to say 816 active clients client extension. Some of these look like bug fixes, not build fixes, but I'm here for it. I'm not going to unconditionally strip things. That's the decision for the package source builder. Okay. Now let's pop out of here and say mk patches and see what we got. We got more. Lots of new ones. So if these patches are good, I have to add them to CVS so that they would be committed. It's warning me right now that I haven't done that. I have a little Git repo where I like to check my work more quickly as I go, but CVS is the repository of record. That's where I would need to commit it to if this is a good change. It's telling me I have to comment these patches also. I'm not worried about it yet. So first, if I do a make patch, it should apply all of them without complaint. And if I do a make to with the most of Debian patches, let's see. It's still gonna look weird. No way around that. Lots of failed assembly flying by. Success using fake nanoseconds. Maybe this is going to go better. I don't know the implications of fake nanoseconds. I don't know the implications of anything in this package. I'm just looking for the tools to build, and if they don't work right, I'll find out, or somebody else will find out. We can't guarantee stuff works right in package source, but we can try to make it build better than it already built and let people find out if that's okay. This does look better. I don't know if it looks good. I can't tell, but it does look better. Let's see if we manage to build all the curve CP tools at the end. Yeah, my feeling is the first time we did this, it was much slower. I mean, excuse me, much faster because it blew up. It couldn't build everything. This is slower because it can. So ARch64 macOS is one of the platforms that package source cares about. It's probably not the most popular one, but it's in there. And if it builds on ARch64 macOS, it probably builds on ARch64 something else, which we can test at some point. Lots of warnings. Still working though. This is some build process. Finishing. This looks promising. You know what? Let's go straight for make package. Holy crap. It does. Then we can make install. So what did we get installed? We have curve CP client. Yeah, that's what it looked like when I ran it on other platforms. Curve CP message. Uh-huh. And it's an ARM64 executable. That's nice. Okay. This is pretty neat. We're in a much improved state here. So let's see. This was our theory. Our theory was that if by applying most or all of the patches, things started to build, then we could see if we could get rid of anything and still have it build. On the other hand, I'm inclined to keep most of what we did that's new. Make sure I have an accurate picture of that. Okay. Get yeah. Oh, right. Status grep patches. And then let's get into these. CPU cycles do. Fake nanoseconds. Uh, okay, I think that's accurate. And I'm gonna. So Debian has a patch per logical change, and NetBSD has a patch per physical change, so by file. So this is also accurate here, and also accurate here. These are our 3 fake nanoseconds bits. All right, let's find where that MIPS thing was. I think I walked past it already. Yeah, okay. Debian patch. This one. I don't know. MIPS portability. I don't know. I'm just gonna take it. Did I get the, yeah, okay. This one was part of the fix segfault patch, right? Yeah. Part of Debian 0, it's always 4. Fix segfault. And that's curve CP client. Not this one. Curve CP server. And there's more to it than this. Also part of another thing. And I'm looking for port parse. This is also that. Okay. Now let's come back to, I think that's the right place. Curve CP message dot C. That's this one. Debian patch. I'll check my wording in a moment. Fix collecting zombies. Part of. Okay, so then just it is that. And then curve CP server, we had another one. This one. Also part of Debian. This one. Return correct client extension. And this one we had pretty early on, if I'm not mistaken. Right. Debian patch. This one, fix socket bind. I don't know, fix it from what, but fine. Okay. I think all the patches are described. I might have missed the nanoseconds one. Seconds.c, that's enough, got it. CPU cycles, sigfold. Okay. Update the patch checksums. It's just a matter of adding them to CVS, and it could be okay. Of course, on platforms where this built before, this is some behavior change. So we want to reflect that in the make file as well. Oops. Even though this is a build fix for AR64, I'm also including some behavior changes on other platforms. And that is a package revision bump. Not the version of the upstream tool itself, but the version, sort of the sub version, you could say. Okay. Not bad. How do we describe this? Clean. I'm going to remove those build logs. I'm curious. Unpatched build with most. Hey now. Let's do diff. Color diff less. I thought Git was going to do it. Is this going to be pretty comparable? I wonder where we can see that it starts to be really different. Of course, the dates are different. Mm -hmm. Yeah, giving up in the old one. And lots of output that we don't have. And then the new one. Okay. onto that. Build unpatched. Build with most of the Debian patches. So we should be almost ready to commit here. We need to think those are the files I need to CVS add. Yeah, package lint should be pretty cool now. Right, I still have a temp. Whoops. I still have, whoops, come on now. I still have this temporary directory where I pulled out the Debian package. Wonder if there's anything else that happens in here that I should look at. How does it work? Changelog. This is the most recent. Okay. Install. Yep, those are the programs that our package installs. Are there man pages? I don't think I had those. Let us take them. Yo. Wow. Okay. I would like to take them. We have a license. This license is public domain. The stuff under Debian is GPL2 plus. I'm not gonna mess with the man pages now. Then it's too much to think about. Okay, it's nice to know that there are man pages. Borrow Debian's GPL etude man pages. Not gonna do that now. So what did we change? Um, borrow build and runtime fixes from Debian. Fixes AR64 build on macOS and perhaps others. Bump package revision. And let's just see if that covers the bases. I think so. Yeah. So package lint is happy, especially if I remove temp. I'm not going to commit that to do file, so I'm not worried about it. And that's going to be an update. That looks pretty good. CVS should come back clean except for that. I also like to update my personal Git copy of all this. And with that, I have done so. One more thing we should do is just sort of sanity check on other platforms. So let me head over to my build box. This is an Intel Mac, and we updated security salt. And there it all is. It should build just as well as it already did. It was already installed because it already did work. So we're coming from revision 2 to revision 3. Oops, especially if I can type it correctly. So this is the same Mac OS Monterey 12.1, but Intel instead of ARM64. This being package source, I want to make sure NetBSD is still in good shape. It, it was building before. What just happened? Oh, let's see. Again, this was already installed. I'm going to replace it. Solaris is always a good test. It was working before. Pretty sure. Pretty sure I tested that. And you can go into salt here. The Solaris 11 and a Triblix. Pretty current. This all came from Debian, but should still be the case. That it builds okay here. And if it builds pretty widely, then I can add a dependency for QRemote on this and not constrain the portability of QRemote by doing so, at least not much. Maybe in a more manageable way. That would be cool. So let's see how we do here. Debian is happening. I'm not going to worry about Dev1 being different or Ubuntu's. CentOS is a good check. CentOS 7. Some remnants of TLS wrapper that I was recently packaging. That's the same author of QRemote, and it's the same person who updated the salt package on Debian. And you can tell we've been in touch, and that's getting some things happening here. It's always nice to collaborate. NetBSD is still building. Still crunching. Solaris additionally has a different compiler. It's whatever Sun Pro is called now. So it's a little slower to build and gives meaningfully different kinds of results. Always handy. CentOS is building, Debian is building. The Mac build is here. This is all AMD 64. Yeah, yeah, there we are. Curve CP, whatever. It's all there. So it's good on Mac OS. It's good on NetBSD. Possible that Linux is finished building somewhere here. Not yet. This build machine is just a Mac Mini running Mac OS as the host OS. There we go. Works on Debian. Not surprising given where I got the patches from. Uh, yeah, it's a Mac Mini running Mac OS 10 as the host, and um, has a bunch of virtual machines currently with VirtualBox. I mentioned I don't have a MIPS machine handy. I'm interested in QEMU, but I haven't done the investment to start switching over to QEMU. But it would be really cool to sort of unentangle from VirtualBox, especially as the world heads away from Intel. My local workstation is not Intel. It'd be handy to run QEMU on whatever platform I have. And it also provides more options for what you're emulating. So it would be really nice to be able to run a MIPS or a Mac 68K. Warm feelings for Mac 68K. Um, yeah, so QEMU is a direction that I will go at some point. If anybody watching knows a lot about it, I'd love to have your help. I just don't know much. Yeah, CentOS 7 is still fine. How did we do on our Solaris's? Triblix built it okay. So I feel pretty good about this. I guess we could try Void Linux. That would be a good test. Because it has a different libc. It uses muscle libc. But generally here, if Solaris works and Void Linux works, this seems to be strictly more portable than it was before. And I'm gonna take a chance on introducing a nacl assault dependency into Q remote. So let's stage that while we're waiting. Yeah, I'm gonna say bump package revision, and we don't need to depend on uh, the salt libraries. We're not linking with them from this package, but we do need to depend on the tools, the runtime tool. And so I'll make a regular dependency like this for a simpler pattern. And it needs to be greater than. It needs a particular version. That's going to come from security. I fooled myself. It needs to be salt greater than or equal to this one. No, this one. That's the one where I added the programs that it needs. Not the version we just made. The version we just made builds equally well where it built before, and has some bug fixes. So, you probably want that. I guess I could specify that. But strictly speaking, it just needs those programs to be there. Okay, I'll add the dependency that way. So that should just be a package revision bump here and a dependency addition there. Yeah, so we can write that up. Now that builds more portably, depend on it, bump package revision. So we'll commit that in just a moment. Pending. Yeah, Void built it just fine. So we're really just waiting on Solaris to finish the job with Sun Studio. And then we'll come back to finish the job for today, which is we wanted Q remote as a really good example of where I want nacl to go. We're going to have Q remote, both the TCP transport version and the curve CP transport version, available from package source. In case we want to depend on it, in case we want to do something like it in nacl, it already is hopefully portable enough for what we would want, and certainly portable enough for me to play with it the way that I would want. And so I'm going to decree that Solaris is probably fine because it was fine before. I'm also going to decree if it's not fine, I can fix that in good time. It's not a popular package source platform, and so I will get to it, but it doesn't have to be something we watch together. So let's do this. Let's get this committed. I'm going to commit with the message that I wrote. I'm going to remove that file, and I'm going to write a changes entry into the package source changelog. That'll do it. And for good measure, come back here. Excuse me, come back to Q remote. Take the change I just committed. Which is not yet in my Git, and put it there. Ta-da. So today we worked on mainly this, but approximately mainly the security salt package, which I'm not the maintainer for, and made it more portable. And I feel like this is pretty good. This is a really sympathetic implementation of something that I imagined could not be an original idea, but I didn't imagine that somebody had followed it through so thoroughly. And now I'm excited to be able to rely on the idea because it's as portable as I need that idea to be. And so with that, that concludes our package source session for today. It serves a goal I have for the notqmail project, and I'm going to stream more notqmail soon. Development in the notqmail project proper. But for today, package source, and thanks for watching my stream. See you next time.